You know, I sit here and I think this morning about everything, and I could see that, if they've taken my sister's child away from them, like I do believe that they have done, I sit here with DNA packages right now because, I question my family about the whole goddamn thing. And I sit here this morning, I've made 4 tapes, and I'm talking here about the DB Cooper and everything, and this whole thing, and it just comes to stem and stand to me that, my sister's being held hostage. I'm also being held in a position to where I know what's going on, so they're trying to keep me at check by using this goddamn approach to me like this. Plus, now they've got my son over there in New York. I haven't seen him. They're playing a checkers game with me, like they're forcing an issue. And like I told my brother-in-law, Ernie Tobeck, I'm like the guy that'll play chicken with somebody in a car because I won't get out of the goddamn road when I'm coming after you. And I mean, I even mentioned to Ernie on our one of our last visits over here, I told him what I thought about my brother Jerry and everything. A&E, I see A&E right there. It reminds me of A&E that I seen on TV with Bruce Kimsey and that orchestrated stunt to cover up the Merwin's case. I mean, Jesus Christ. You know, when you have things that remind you of things all the time, of murders and stuff that have behind you, and you see your family's faces across the United States of America. And I'll tell you what, right now, here, you stay here for fucking 30 seconds because I got a picture of my grandpa over there. And it might bring something into this because I'll just rip this right off of my wall of shame right now. I'll come right back in here. And this is what I mean. Here's my wall of shame. Here I am right here. Right here I am. And look at that, what I've written. And I wrote this a long time ago. The stuff about the transponders being there. Can you help me now? I'm standing right here in front of you. I'm standing right here in front of you, and I'm asking you for help. 50 years after the fact, I sat there in front of people trying to say, look what I'm doing. Look at this kid. He's got goddamn rockets on the side of his fucking sunglasses looking at you, and I'm the kid right here. I'm like a little goddamn rocket ship scientist. And these people tried to put me in a goddamn box. I won't go tell you how goddamn smart I am. I'll tell you how stupid they told me I was. This is my grandfather, Thomas Leroy Wright. And when you see your grandfather's face on a picture, wanted dead or alive, and I'm standing right here before your very eyes. I'm standing right here before your very eyes. Does somebody goddamn see where they fucking threatened me and my family? They used my grandfather's pictures. They've used my dad's pictures. They used my uncle Milborn's pictures. Right there's my dad and right there's my mom. And she's standing there with one hand behind her back. And she's so goddamn happy that she's fucking done this. And her son, Jerry L. Wright, in Lewis County, Washington, I'd like them hung. I'd like goddamn Jerry Wright fucking hung by the neck until he's dead, dead, dead. That's my grandfather. Right there. Leroy Thomas Wright. My dad and him turpentined a dog together. If that don't burn your ass. My dad told me of stories how him and his dad was doing things together. Well, Jerry and his dad was doing things together too because I heard them talking in that F-85 1963 Oldsmobile. 1963, that's the year John F. Kennedy died, by the way. And I'll tell you another thing. In Port Angeles, Washington, my brother Jim won a tapestry of John F. Kennedy in a watermelon a watermelon eating contest where he got second place. He actually got first place, but second place, he got that tapestry. I don't know if that was organized or what, but my brother Jim's in the hallway telling me, he's looking at me and saying, John, that's the president that got shot dead in the head. And then I got Terry Shortridge that gets shot dead in the head. And I was held in a cage not during the John F. Kennedy thing. See, I wasn't actually old enough to experience, I don't know, maybe I did see it, the John F. Kennedy assassination, but in a way, I don't remember it. But I would say that these children right here, my brothers and sisters, did remember the president that got shot dead in the head, and that's why I'm acting different than they were acting, and they seen this here, and then they're also acting out like a group of Hogan's Heroes in that house when I'm in that cage, running through the house when Hogan's Heroes comes on. They're out there, you hear that sound of that fucking music, and man, they've got their food, and they're grabbing their plates and stuff, and they're running out there. They're going to be eating in the front room, watching Hogan's Heroes. That's what they're going to be doing. I'm right there. I'm in the rabbit cage. I get out sometimes. Sometimes they come by and they just rattle my goddamn cage with their fucking spoons, and I hold the goddamn grudge against these bitches. My sister Bonnie wasn't there. My sister Bonnie was uptown running that gas station, or she was running that shrubland. I think Jerry and my mother ran that greenhouse, but when that gas station came there, Bonnie was moved into that gas station, working that gas station. Jesus Christ, they were putting children to work at early age. I remember my brothers and sisters going and picking berries in Port Angeles so they could buy their school clothes, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, but I do remember my brother Jim telling me he'd go out and he'd go into other fields that you're not supposed to pick in because they got marsh strawberries over there, great big strawberries. He'd put them in his containers, and then he'd put the small ones on the top of them, just pass them off. My brother Jim was teaching me right off the bat. My brother Jim would go down, and he'd take me fishing and stuff down at the river. I love Jim. I love my brother Jim. I love my brother Jim as much as I hate my brother Jerry. And Jim, right, stood up, and we got fucking fist fights. And it was him that came and attacked me over Terry Shortridge. You better shut your fucking mouth. You better not say nothing, threatening me in different ways and stuff. And the whole family was, but Jim Wright has got his ass just beat up really bad because he attacked me. And when you attack somebody and somebody fucking throws you, because they come at you with such goddamn force, and they're in the absolute wrong, and they're fighting for stupidness, and I'm fighting for my life, and I usually kick people's ass when they come and they attack me. I mean, Jesus Christ, when somebody attacks you and you win, and they got goddamn run out, stick their tail between their leg and fucking run off because they're ashamed and they're embarrassed because they got their fucking ass ripped apart because they fucked with somebody that was held in a cage, called Clarence the Cross-Eyed Lion, made fun of because of his glasses, called him stupid, deaf, dumb, and blind. You know nothing. Jerry Wright, do you remember any of those goddamn things now? And by the way, how do you feel today? Because this is what I mean. How do you get up and walk past your fucking wall of shame every day, you guys? You go stick up everything that goddamn happened in your life, and you have turmoil in it, and your family's been causing you shit, then you get run off by the law enforcement community. And then you find out that your mother, that she's been fucking keeping you around because she's hiding behind you, And he was doing the same thing to me. They were both hiding behind me, and so was the whole fucking family. And if somebody thinks that I have no right to be outraged by the situation, boy, I'd like to shove a fucking football right up their goddamn ass and pull it out of their mouth and say, how does it taste now? You know, I'll tell you another thing. This is a story, and this is before Shortridge got murdered. I was in that house and I was watching a football game, and the football game is recorded nationally, of course. But what the team did was they did the very last fucking second of the game, they did this, what they call the Statue of Liberty play, where the guy comes back like this, a quarterback sneak, I think it was. It was a big game, big play. And they pulled it off, and the team won the Super Bowl, the playoff, man. It was right there. And I was listening to it in my bedroom, right there just around the bathroom. I was downstairs at that point, just around the corner there. And I was right there. Me and Jim's listening to this radio in my bedroom, and this radio was actually in the house when we moved there. It was abandoned there, lived there. So I'm listening to this radio, listening to the football game, and Jim's there, and all of a sudden, me and Jim run up the fuck. Jim goes, "Come on, let's go, go, go." We take off up 2-3 blocks to Betty Ford's house. Betty Ford was murdered. You know, she worked in the Wheel Cafe. They're related to my mother's situation. I told the stories. But we run up right there. Stan Hoyt's up there, staying upstairs at his grandmother's house. Stan Hoyt, my friend. And if we get up there, Jim says, "Fuck," you know, he says, "I'll bet you, you know, they win." Stan, "I'll bet you goddamn anything they won't." He says, "I'll bet you my gun and this and my traps and all this." And you know what? Fucking the goddamn bet was set. And I fucking knew we had insider information before the fucking bet was won. And Stan Hoyt ended up losing the 22, the over and under 22 shotgun, 410 shotgun, to my brother Jim, and the fish traps. My brother Jim ended up giving me the fucking the gun and the fish traps. Shut your fucking mouth. Don't tell him. Stan Hoyt will fucking kill me. And I gotta tell you, you can go back and look at the recording. It had to be the 1974 playoffs game that happened. It didn't happen in 75. It happened prior to Terry Shortridge's murder. And then the next thing you know, after those traps and stuff, and I've had that gun and all this stuff, I've been out shooting this thing. Shortridge murders happen and stuff like that, you know, and things happen. I mean, hey man, I'm friends with Stan Hoyt. Stan Hoyt stole the pair of my shoes. You know, Bonnie and Rich and Jerry, my sister Bonnie right here. We talked about this. I had a pair of brand new shoes in that house. See, I got newspaper out in that house. I've got money on Division Street. I'm the only family member that has money other than Jerry's working out at the DNR. Jim's hiding in the house. He can't go nowhere. He hides. He runs around the outskirts of Morton. He's not seen uptown. You know, truant officer might get him. You know, so anyway, he only went to school in Mossy Rock 68 days, 70 days, you know. Jerry, the same thing, very little. And they both flunked that year, too, by the way, in Mossy Rock, so they were both held back. They hold against society. You know, so anyway, I love telling stories, so I'm overwhelmed when I tell stories. You know, I'm going to have to cut this off. It's at 14 minutes, and, you know, I'll come back and tell more stories. If you like what you see, hit the like button. You know, you can leave a comment whether you believe me or not. That's up to you, but at least I've got the goddamn balls to sit here and tell you the truth. Instead of being forced into submission, and silence is golden, like my brother's paddle in the classroom at Betty Willman's class that every child in Morton, Washington had witnessed that went to school there. And they know the legend of Terry Shortridge that was murdered in that town. And if you brought the children forward that was in my classroom, they would all probably be very scared at this point, I'm sure.